Alti.TV.
Hello and welcome back to the Division 2 Australian Ultimate Championship. We have a women's game to be streamed. It's a women's pre-semi-final between the two teams that we have had a chance to see on the stream already, and it's Tempest versus Valkyrie. My name is Rachel Došnerová and I'm tuning in from the Czech Republic to be joined by Hillary, who is currently finding herself in the nice brisk morning in Great Britain. Hi Hillary, how are you?
Good morning, Rachel. Good afternoon, everyone else from wherever you're joining us. This is an exciting game, Rachel, because we were just on a previous Valkyrie game where we saw them go down to underground. So this is going to be a really tough slog for this team. They're going back to back. It's been a really long day for them, so there's going to be a lot of interesting plays here. They're going to be fighting with the fatigue, and they're going to be fighting with the wind, the conditions out there. But overall, it's going to be an exciting time, and it looks lovely and sunny, and I wish I could be there in person. But unfortunately, we can't right now, so I'm really excited to be joining you all the way from Edinburgh, Scotland.
Same here, Hillary. Like you said, third game of the day for Valkyrie, and for Tempest, I believe as well. Valkyrie having 3 losses and 2 wins so far in this tournament. I think they'll be looking to definitely get this one home.
Yeah, that's for sure. So now we see Tempest with the disc, and Valkyrie coming out in their zone, which they used in their previous match, which worked really well against this wind. It did a really good job to trap players and cutters and handlers, more like that, on the sideline. We see a big disc go up in space, but caught Tempest actually moving really nicely against this zone already. Very dynamic movements, just trying to work it through their handlers, getting those down the line cuts. A quick dish off to a handler and it's a behind the shot, so really difficult to capture that. Valkyrie with their first opportunity. And they convert it looking long. Eyes on the end zone. Really beautiful shape on that disc, like big ISO. Allowed that player to pivot, turn, and break away from her defender and get into space. A beautiful shot, and what a start for Valkyrie.
Definitely, I'm so impressed. Taking into account that their last game just finished about 10 minutes ago, and it's been a tough game. We've seen it. We've been there, at least virtually. It's incredible that they're still finding the strength to run another game and even get the first point in. Maybe there is something to it that they have been on this field just a few minutes ago, and they are quite accustomed to the conditions. But I think this will eventually play a role in the latter parts of this game, because I don't think Tempest is playing a back-to-back game, and Tempest also, from the history of their tournament, has had 4 wins and only 1 loss. And that was in the unfortunately for them, that was in the stream game we did yesterday, and against Zig Theory. Quite a favorite in this tournament, I would say. A very strong performance out of Zig. but Tempest have done really well so far. They shook off the one unfortunate loss and won 9-2 over Manly Swell and 13-4 over Melbourne Inferno. So I think this will be a tight game, and every factor will play a role.
Tempest take the opportunity to get that disc from the sideline after the pull, but turf it after the third throw. So Valkyrie has another opportunity to break, but a loose disc goes up really short in and is just bobbled. Looking for that dump cut swing. Just too far out in that reach, and you can sort of start to see there's a little bit of fatigue in Tempest. They still look really good, but that's 2 turnovers now. They're giving it back to Valkyrie, who are, coming out really strong after a back-to-back game. High disc into the wind, those sorts of throws really are going to play, they're not going to be the best right now. You really need to release it low, because as you're throwing it into the wind, it's just going to pick it up. Tempest,
Definitely.
get that disc back, but turn it again. Sorry, Rachel, off you go.
And a beautiful save by Valkyrie, catching the disc that popped off the Tempest defender. I was just going to say that Valkyrie are sure to use the deep shots they've been practicing in the previous game.
Disc is centered in the field, looking for that cut underneath. She looks for the end zone line, but opts to center it back. Safe options are looking really good now, and I like this movement. A pick is called on field, so the teams will reset, and it'll go back to the original thrower.
In the meantime, I hope the Valkyrie fans who join us for the last live game will tune in again and give us some good banter in the chat box. Otherwise, we will have to fill it out ourselves, Hillary. And I think that would be a bit weird, honestly, if we were just commentating and chatting in the chat box by ourselves. Commentating on our commentating, we could get into this very weird spiral. Back.
An error there and a drop. So Tempest get the disc again. Early movement deep on the stack. Defense is holding up the throw, but a look downfield. It was an opportunity that was there, but just not so well executed. Looking for that disc to have a little bit more of a curve to come into that player.
I'm so glad we have an opportunity to comment on Valkyrie again, Hillary, because right now we have Jaeger with the disc, and we have a good chance to rectify our previous butchering of her name. I will say complete and utter butchering of her name. So Jaeger, a great addition to this Valkyrie team, an excellent deep defender in their effective zone, and also acting as a handler. We saw her being stuck in that, what we call the magic corner, just a difficult spot on the field, going upwind and being surrounded by a full zone of the opposing team's players. So Jaeger, guys, it's Jaeger. And you remember the name.
Huge layout there to get the disc. Yeah, just unfortunate that wasn't a safe turn, but manages to somehow magically pick up that disc. Valkyrie again with another opportunity. They seem to be rushing it a little bit. Every opportunity that they get, it just feels a little bit rushed. They need a bit of patience just to slow it down and reset. Take that time to get that disc. Tempest jamming it down on the sideline. They need to clear out that stack and generate more cuts downfield. Huge hand block from Valkyrie. I'm sorry I can't see your number on screen, but that was a really beautiful touch. Another turnover. And there's discussion on field. So both teams, Rachel, coming out with a zone defense. Tempest is slightly different. What do you think of it so far?
So Tempest, I think, are still kind of tapping into the game, trying to see what style Valkyrie is playing and what will work best against them, both on defense and offense. The one thing I wanted to mention that's kind of an interesting twist on Tempest is they have two handlers who are at least two handlers that I remember from the last game who are lefties. So that's something that Valkyrie will have to take into account, because especially if you're working with the wind in your game, you definitely need to account those lefties, because you're thinking, you're going up out defending thinking, oh, I'm just going to force forehand and make it quite difficult for them to throw that upline, or upwind or downwind, and then there they go using the other hand and you've just made the throw much easier for them. So I really hope they've had some limited time in between the games, Valkyrie did, to prepare for that kind of tactical change. And straight away, the teams go into a timeout.
Yeah, that's an early call, but I think the right one. At this stage of the game, they were turning over quite a lot. Both sides had opportunities a number of times, and they need to take this moment just to reset. You might think like it's so early, why use your timeout now? But actually, I think this is a good time to just remind everyone that this is an important game and we just need to take our time. There's patience that we need to utilize here to find those shots. We've got tired legs and we really need to just hit that disc right on the chest where our players are, really focus on our throws, but also really focus on these hard cuts clearing away.
Definitely. So again, thank you, Valkyrie, for filling out the survey. We will do our best to use some of that information in our commentary. On the other hand, with Tempest, we will have to work with what we're provided through the official sources.
You can see that wind whipping up against the shorts, and that's one of the things that is a key factor in this game, Rachel. We really want to see, when you're coming down field from the right of the screen, that's where you're going with the wind, so you can use that to your advantage and put up these huge throws, and they'll really take them. But you also have to think about how quickly that disc is actually going to fly, and actually reset and go, is my cutter available at the time when this disc release? Are they going to get there? Whereas on the other side, you're going against the wind, and it's more beneficial to actually use those short throws to just move that disc really quickly and have lots of dynamic cutting, particularly through the handlers and the cutters, just to generate lots of movement, particularly if you're coming up against a zone. So it'll be really interesting to see how this game progresses. Teams are resetting after that halftime, and I'm sure they were thankful, particularly Valkyrie, for another break, another opportunity just to rest those legs. It's really hard, Rachel, going back to back without a proper break in
I
between.
absolutely
Those are just
can't imagine. Yeah, especially towards the end of the day like this, and the games obviously become more and more important. This is a me, so I absolutely can't imagine. Quite an interesting format. We're not used to this in the Czech Republic at all. We almost never have. That has to be a huge exception to have a back to back game. Usually, this only happens really at fun tournaments or something like that, where there's no other options. But any official tournaments, I don't think that has ever happened. That would have had to be a huge exception. So I have a lot of admiration for these players still being able to run on the field, especially moving so quickly the way Valkyrie is doing right now. But seems like a disc was released a bit quicker than intended.
Tempest with the disc now. They center it back to a handler, but the disc is dropped. Valkyrie tried to move really quickly. Great grab, snatch in the air. Looking for these short passes and a lofty throw over the top. Knocked out of the air by Tempest. Great heads up field awareness. So Tempest now have to move it out of the end zone. They're in that danger spot now. It's a really challenging position to be, but they're with the wind. And that right there is just an example of how quickly that disc will move when you're throwing it and you're going with the wind. It just sort of flies out. Nice cut up the line from Valkyrie. Looking straight to the end zone, but hits the ground before it's caught. A beautiful dish, not dish, sorry, just intercept, hands up, saw that disc coming and stopped it. So Tempest trying to reset their defense. And Valkyrie have another opportunity to get another break. Beautiful throw. Finds that really nice cut. This is looking really good for Valkyrie now. They just need to concentrate, be patient with the disc, looking for those dishes.
And the Valkyrie fans are back in the chat. Thanks for joining. We have Rob, we have Brandon, and Ultimate Australia. Thanking everyone for tuning in. Again, quite a few just on the field. But surprisingly enough, this time they're in the other half of the field, not the one that we're used to.
Yeah, it's really hard to believe that this is only the second point of the game and we're almost 20 minutes in. I have lost count of the amount of turnovers. And, I think this just goes back to what we were saying at the very beginning. This has been a long day. Really nice eyesight there. That was a great put. Flick down the field. And they jam it into that corner and it works. Find that space, whatever you can. Great vision. Valkyrie now up 2-0. That's a superb way to start, and it was a really long point. There was a timeout called. There was lots of turnovers, but just look at that pass. Beautiful vision over the top of a Tempest defender and into that pocket. That's all it takes,
and it's
Rachel.
It's none other than our Emma Jaeger, the spirit captain of this team, the deep defender in the end zone, and this time the one who gets the score in. Madeline Smith with the assist, and Valkyrie showing great energy. That you can tell that they're still pumped up and full of endorphins from their last game. And even though they lost that one, I think it's given them sort of maybe the head start that they needed for this game. Being ready to go again, and keep it up. Then I think they're in for a ride.
Definitely, Rachel. I think the previous game was challenging for Valkyrie, but it really feels like watching them now, they've really found their groove. It looks like they're in a better mindset and they've maintained that mentality. Sometimes it is difficult when you actually have a break to come back out with that really strong competitive mentality and just like that switched on focus. And it feels like Valkyrie has that upper hand right now because they've just played a game. Valkyrie resetting with
Exactly. Yeah,
their
that was.
zone look. Tempest moving really quickly, breaking through that cup. Great handler movements. This is a really dynamic way to just stop that defense and to break it through. Fantastic swings. This is looking really good. Disc is safely centered on the field, and I like these movements, small little throws. Just dishing it 1-2 and just trying to finds that gap with the cutter downfield. When those opportunities aren't there downfield, they just look to dish it back to a handler. This is a really healthy look as well. There's always two people that are available, two handlers with space so that they have something to dish off to. If there's no free cutter downfield, they can always dish back to their handler, but just a really unfortunate throw there that just like went over the top of the player and they weren't able to bring it down. But that was a really brilliant play from Tempest. If they can keep that up, that's going to be a really challenging thing for Valkyrie to defend against. Some big throws down the field. Valkyrie trying to move it really quickly. But they've got the upper hand now, being able to try and trap Tempest down on the end zone line.
This was an unfortunate error, the last one. The player was completely free, and just the hastiness on the throw caused the thrower to miss her. But still, they have gained a lot of yards, and now they're starting almost from the brick mark.
And a hammer throw, and it works.
Absolutely huge hammer from behind the brick mark all the way to the end zone. Incredible stuff. Let's have a look at that again. Picks it up, waits for the people to set up, and here it goes. And under pressure, a great grab. What a fun way to go 3-0. Definitely Valkyrie managing to keep the energy up and not only score but also entertain while doing it.
Yeah, Rachel, that was some spicy shot and really fun to see that on a windy day. You know, it's a brave move to put out a hammer, but if it's there, why not? You know, we're not here to play it safe. We want to see those fun shots. So let's just try and encourage both teams to just, you know, put everything out there and have some fun. Give us the entertainment that we signed up for.
That's right. So Valkyrie bringing the energy, the excitement from the previous game, carrying it over to this one, which definitely is the last game of Saturday of Div 2 Australian Nationals. Tempest with a low start. I thought they were maybe just really tapping the ground, trying it out, seeing what's happening, to then go fully out. But we haven't seen much yet. We will see if they will be able to wake up and show off some of their skills, maybe even in the upcoming point already. Number 25, Mel Budeep, one of the most experienced handlers on this team, has basically every other disc, or picks up, starts off most of the plays for Tempest.
Valkyrie stuck in the most difficult corner here. This is where all the wind is, trapped by the Tempest zone, but they managed to dish it off. We just need to find more movement from the handlers and cutters coming in to break that cup up. And a wobbly disc goes up into the wind and is turfed. So Tempest have an opportunity to convert here right on their end zone line.
Budeep
slowly
walks up to the disc.
Great celebration there. A handler cut down into the end zone. You just watch this here. It's difficult to defend these. We see the handler coming in to open space. The stack knew that this was happening. Great recognition from the other players on field who cleared out and moved away to open up that space here. But tight man on man defense.
And I think it might have been Kelly Thompson with the score. I could just catch the 3 on her back, but not 100% sure. There is a slight chance that it was Emily Berry or Carrie Adlam. But we will go with the captain.
Yeah. We're sorry, guys. It's really difficult from our point of view to see the numbers on the shirt, and we're trying to match it with our rosters. We're doing our best, but we do apologize in advance if we don't get your name right, or if we don't even call names, because it is challenging to see it. But if there are people
only a
listening,
bazillion miles away, really.
I actually am 10,000 miles away. In reality, that is how far it is. And if I just quickly convert that to kilometers, which is the metric that is used in Australia, that would be 160,000 kilometers away. 160,000 kilometers away? That seems
incredible.
Absurd.
That seems...
No.
Yeah, well, we will just go with... No,
16,000.
16,000.
16,000. Extra. I added an extra 0.
We're just really far. I think you get it.
Valkyrie with the disc. Big pivots trying to shake off that defender. Options weren't there, so they threw something out hoping for a cutter to get it, and it looked like there was a pick called as well. And they're signaling that it is a turnover, uncontested, well, not contested. Good hand signals. So Valkyrie reset their zone defense.
Budeep will pick up the disc yet again for Tempest.
Yeah, she seems to be their primary handler. But I'd want someone that confident to be on my team, particularly when it's windy and I'm stuck down in that danger zone. I really like seeing how Tempest move with this zone. Hey, nice pick up there. A high floaty disc caught on the outskirts of the field, just over the line. So that was called out. Valkyrie not wasting a second here and just looking long with a big huck into the end zone. That's their style of play, Rachel. They really like to just find that deepest cutter and shoot it long.
It seems to be working for them a bit better than in the previous game. Again, due to the slow start of Tempest. And they do keep the 2-point lead so far. And yeah, I think they should just keep doing it.
Yeah, in practice, Tempest look really good. The way that they move that disc, they're very confident against this zone. I don't think this is a huge threat for them. I think the threat for them right now is just some of those throws that they're releasing, and that wind, that combo is just challenging them, and that's where those turnovers are coming from. They're forced or unforced errors from the team. But Valkyrie just doing such a good job to put on that pressure. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. A lot of pressure on that sideline. And now Lucas with the disc tries to get on for the upline. Lucas being one of the captains for Valkyrie. We can hear the wind on the mics. We can see the jerseys on the players. Not the easiest conditions. Hopefully we can get some more seagulls into the picture to see that they're struggling as well. We've had some yesterday and only a few appearances today, yeah.
Oh, a bit of a collision there. When I say bit, I mean an actual collision between players. Hope they're both okay.
This is the situations. These are the situations that just happen in these windy games because any errant pass will can potentially turn into this kind of hospital pass where just people try to follow the trajectory of the disc and lose sight of their surroundings. But we can see all the players communicating quickly what's about to happen. So an uncontested foul, it seems like, by the hand signals. I really like how all the players are replicating the signs so that everyone, even the sideline, is aware of what's happening, and especially the commentators.
Valkyrie tried to quickly convert, picking up that disc, moving just so quickly, and that disc was just too far out of reach, but Tempest returned with a really quick throw, just trying to get out of that space immediately. As a handler, you don't want to be trapped down there because it is challenging, so it was a really great idea to just move it really quickly.
Thompson now working with Badib.
Tempest have all the right moves here. They've always got 3 handlers back, but they've always got options to pass it to multiple people. They've got really dynamic, proactive cutters and just unfortunate drops of the disc. That pressure on the field is a lot when you're up against a zone, and sometimes it is inevitable that you might just forget. Oh, dive, huge look. Valkyrie always looking for that deep throw. really nice flat flick. Was so low, hard for the cutter at the end to get that. Had to dive out for it.
You can tell Lucas loves these deep throws. Sometimes they look fab, sometimes not so good, but this one was quite nice, and there was good effort on it in the end zone with the layout. But now Tempest is going the other way. Thompson behind the first cup, helping out the handlers. I really
Movement
like
is
the
really
way
good.
I really like the way Thompson and Boutine are switching between the handler and cutter roles. You can always see them really trying to find the open spaces behind the first cup, and see how they're rotating. So they have three handlers in the back, but then just like that, they add the fourth person, and that's where they manage to find the hole.
Exactly, Rachel. That's it. Like they've got all that they need. They're finding those passes, those shots downfield, and they're so close to scoring right now, right on that end zone line, looking for that cut. And there it was, out in space, and they cheer for it. A well-deserved point. Another one on the board for Tempest.
That's Thompson, one of the no, the only captain of Tempest. So she's bringing the team one step closer to evening out the score. We see her pump the fist. 3 minutes into the game, we did start a tiny bit later because the teams were not ready, especially due to Valkyrie playing the last stream game, which only ended about 10 minutes before this one started. Tempest finally finding themselves on the field against the energy that Valkyrie brought in from the last game with their deep hucks and tight zone defense.
Yeah, I think these last few points for Tempest have been warm-up points. I think there's quite clearly some gameplay jitters and some fatigue that they're dealing with because they have all the skill set that they need. You know, we just saw in that offensive play against a really tough zone that they were actually able to break through it, and they were finding a lot of movement. You know, as you were saying, that really good switching of the handlers and the cutters downfield. There were always options to go to, and it's just these unforced errors that they just need to try and like stop, happening. It's just catch the disc safely, you know, use that crocodile alligator catch, two hands safely, bring it into the chest, eyes on the disc at all times, like keep it in. You know, the game could really change its pace here if Tempest use this momentum that they've got and take it out on Valkyrie. Huge, big
Well,
pull,
sorry,
nicely.
sorry to interrupt you there,
Yeah.
Hillary, but crocodile catch, really? Is that an Aussie expression?
Well, no,
Well, because
but you know how you call it an
no, it isn't.
alligator catch? Do you call it an
No,
alligator catch?
no, I don't think I've ever heard it. Well, in the Czech Republic, here's what we say. Is there an animal, a bird called the stork? Am I saying that right?
Yes. Yep.
Well,
The
so we
one that
call it the stork
delivers the
catch.
babies.
That's right. So we call
Ah,
it the stork catch. That's what we call it in the Czech Republic. Because of that big beak, goes clap, clap.
that is exactly it. So that's why we call it the Well, that's why I call it the crocodile catch because of the huge beak, the huge jaws that just clamp down on the disc.
That's some great cultural awareness there. Please let us know in the comments on the YouTube stream if you have any more funny names for the clapcatch, because clapcatch is just so boring if you have all these animals that you can use as a metaphor. Um, Another fun challenge for you if you want to engage a little bit in the discussions in the comments. And in the meantime, Tempest respond with a quick throw into the end zone, and that's their first break of the game. Wow. Lots of energy finally picking up on Tempest's side as they even out the score 3-3. And a massive stork slash alligator slash crocodile catch.
Yeah, Tempest deserved that one. That was a quick turnaround, really proactive movement. That handler had eyes on their receiver, and there was all that space in the end zone. So now we've got a game on our hands. It's really, really tight. And, both teams are going to be feeling it. Tempest have just brought it back to Valkyrie. They had that gap and it's gone now. So they're going to have to work extra hard.
Absolutely. I think I've anticipated this a little bit. Tempest was sort of starting the game with thinking, let's see what they bring on. Let's see what kind of strategy they're planning on, and adjust accordingly. While Valkyrie was just like, oh, we still have all this energy from the last game. Let's use it and push for a good start, which they did. They were up 3-0, and Tempest, I believe it was 3-0, and Tempest have just made this great comeback. Not really changing much, just I think focusing a bit more on the individual throws and finding the nice open spaces in the end zone. And now they're back and they seem very, very chill and kind of steady, as opposed to Valkyrie, who are going all out and sort of living in the moment.
Just wanted to give a shout out to all of our viewers watching live on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in and supporting your teams. Couple of shout outs to some people. Thank you to Sharul for his take on what the clap catch is. He says, my friend calls it the burger catch. And that's not too bad, actually.
Excellent. So we're at 4. Don't be afraid to add some more. Maybe we can make it a collection. So half is at
Brandon
8.
On YouTube.
The fans remind us, yeah.
Yeah, I was just shout out to some of our fans as well. Brandon says, Khan Valkyrie and Khan MK. What else have we got? We've got Leo saying, come on, Tempest, bringing it back. We thank you guys. Appreciate it. And I'm sure the teams really appreciate your support as well. Start screaming at your telly.
Fans for Maddie Smith, also in the previous game, number 11 on the Valkyrie team. Make sure to watch her on the screen. She has been playing for 6 years, and her most memorable highlight was the Blue Bottles campaign in 2015. She plays footy as well, and netball. And it's the one who has had her appendix taken out just 2 weeks ago, but has been able to come back to the field and play this tournament. And here we go. We see her on the mark there. Long arms, a difficult mark to get around.
So Tempest bobble the disc and it's a turnover back to Valkyrie. They're just going to look immediately into the end zone and they find that opportunity.
With Min Hedger-Smith, the spirit captain of Valkyrie. So let's learn something about Min, shall we, Hillary?
Please, teach us.
Min is 33 years old, has played for 4 years, so started a bit later, I would say. She loves her team and is a founding member. I cannot, oh my god, this Excel sheet is just messing with me. is a founding member and treasurer from 2017. Her parents are hopefully watching. And she only wears fun socks, guys. And she's had a herd of 20 guinea pigs at work. Those are some excellent fun facts, man. And if you look closely, she has shaved the Valkyrie logo into the side of her head for every nationals.
Wow, what a commitment.
That's called love for the team. I would only shave the 3SB logo on my legs or something, not the head.
You'd really have to have quite distinctive leg hair for it to be seen.
It's no problem in lockdown though.
Right, so Tempest with the disc down on the far sideline. Valkyrie come out with a man or match defense approach. And it works. Tempest didn't have options downfield, so they just looked to huck it. Valkyrie off to move it really quickly. Waiting for those cutters to catch up. They just dish it off 1-2. Disc goes up, floats, and unable to rescue it. So Tempest get the disc back again. Options not coming downfield, as we can see. Sorry, Rachel, as we could see, like there was no cutters in our frame of view. They had such a deep stack. It's challenging to work with that as a handler. Valkyrie back with the disc now, just doing 1-2s. Oh, and a very lucky grab. Just moving it very quickly. Short throws and get it over the line. That's all it takes, Rachel, just 1-2s. Keeping it short and simple, nothing fancy.
I loved it, Hills. It was very good cooperation between the 2 or 3 players, just really short passes, quick upline cuts. Jaeger again involved in basically every second pass. This was
very modest approach. Very
I think
just it's a smart move because they were coming into the wind. Sorry, Rachel, we keep cutting each other off, and for those listening in, we apologize because Rachel and I, neither can't see each other, which is a challenge, but also we're both in different parts of the globe. So, we're working off our intuition, aren't we, Rachel? Just trying to feel the room.
So I just wanted to say that it was Sarah Davis with the score, number 28 for Valkyrie. Was just happy anytime a forehand flick goes where she means it to. And she's only played with Valkyrie once before, but she's stoked to be playing with them yet again at Nationals. She's currently trying to learn 3 different languages: Swedish, Korean, and Chinese Mandarin. Wow, that's quite impressive. Being a language lover myself, I can really appreciate it. Yeah.
So a turnover from Valkyrie. Oh, huge layout dish.
Luca's just making sure that disc does not get to the receiver. Wow. Great layout.
Massive
and
effort.
She starts up with the disc again. Finds the beautiful inside break throw, but unfortunately a call on the field has stopped the play before that.
So they'll talk it out, just to confirm, probably figuring out what stall count they were on. Lucas fakes. Oh! Looks to center the disc right in the middle. But a massive layout block from Tempest. And they're just going to move it really quickly, try and get it out of their end zone. A high floaty disc goes up and they try to bring it down, but it's turfed. So Valkyrie get that disc again. Tempest now sticking to match defense. And Lucas throws a wild shot into a set of defenders, perhaps thinking one of her receivers would be popping out and cutting for that. Big throw downfield. Tempest bring it in safely, gaining meters. That's exactly what they need right now to get down closer to their end zone. And there's a pick called on field, so players will reset.
Here we see the beautiful deep shot again, and it was so unfortunate because number 17 was running straight for the end zone and she was completely free, but just the flow wasn't there. The player did not have the eyes in the front, but here they try again, but someone from Valkyrie there to collect it snatches it out of the air in front of the intended receiver's eyes.
Too eager to try and get that disc out of the way. It's a turnover again, so Valkyrie hand it back to Tempest. And then they're just using that far sideline of the field, not worried about generating much space for themselves. And a high, lofty backhand goes up. There's an attempt to try and save it, but it is grounded again. Valkyrie will be getting the disc in their end zone. It'll be Lucas picking it up.
So Lucas, 28 years old. Kirsty has also been playing for the Blue Bottles in 2015. She's a handler that we've noticed with a bit of cutting and a lot of D. We've noticed that as well. She plays field hockey and board and video games. Her parents are watching. Instead of the AFLW Crows pre-something final, that's probably an Australian thing. Some kind of AFLW final. And she says she has scars on her elbows from laying out so much. My ex-boyfriend used to call these everlasting scratches and scars salmon, because it looked like salmon skin. It wasn't really healed properly. And she also says that she got a really nasty cut on her right index finger the day before they flew to Canberra. Completely my own fault, because I was doing something not smart with a handsaw and not wearing gloves. So we will get some work security advice in from Valkyrie. And I see I've been talking while there's been some scoring happening on the field. Hillary, can you fill me in?
Yeah, Tempest managed to convert that point with a nice high throw over the top of a couple of Valkyrie defenders. So closing that gap, it's 5 to Valkyrie, 4 to Tempest. This is, it's still neck and neck, really. Like, both teams have it. And Tempest really just need to settle their throws, because they have all the skill set that they need in their arsenal of what they can do. They've got that really great offensive approach, and it'll really come down to this defense now, which is working. That pressure just put on straight away with that zone, forcing Valkyrie to throw a really high disc into space with no No cutter there. So they'll get that disc back now. An opportunity to level the score.
Thompson and
Great hands
Gillette
there.
on the handling.
Deep cut, looking long, and there's a receiver in the end zone. Brilliant throw and a brilliant cut. Tempest level at 5-all with Valkyrie.
Look at that beautiful quick upline and almost no hesitation before that beautiful forehand flick and a great rundown.
Yeah, the handler saw the
So,
opportunity there. There was a cutter running deep. No defender proactively on her. There was a Valkyrie defender, but they weren't aggressively trying to chase down that disc. You can just see that there was enough separation. And there was also a backup cutter as well, which is always helpful. Sometimes when there's wind, these discs can float up and go in wild directions. So fantastic teamwork there from Tempest.
Chow with the assist and Kwang with the score. Hopefully not butchering the Tempest names too much. We did not receive our commentator form responses from that team, so currently we only have the written version and not the pronunciation preferred by the players.
High, lofty
Valkyrie.
disc. But caught just in the nick of time with a Tempest defender on their toes. Number 11, Maddie Smith. She's a top scorer for Valkyrie.
Great stuff. Let's look at that again. Huge high release forehand this time. The wind let it go back to the field, and Maddie just, you can see her watching it this whole time, and as it descends, she secures it in her hands right above the ground. And a good putt. I couldn't quite get the number. I think it started with a 2. Yeah. Unfortunately, 10,000 miles away, being a bit too far for us to see the numbers on the t-shirts. Anyway, again, this was great quick action out of a Valkyrie. The stuff when they do it and it works, it really works. It's a quick offense. They just need 1 or 2 passes. It basically means that one of their long throws has worked out the way they wanted to.
Yeah,
Tempest
quite the
sticking
opposite
to their
Tempest.
slow and steady offense. Yeah.
Exactly. So Tempest really like to be patient and modest and take as many passes as they can. But Valkyrie's, they're brave. They're just willing to throw it out there, huck it deep. And as I say that, Tempest hucks it deep and finds a cutter there in space, but they're unable to bring it down. A nice look. That would have been a really exciting play. But it's back over to
Good
Valkyrie
rundown
now.
by Tracy Hart.
Hand block by Tempest, so they get another opportunity.
Budeep with her slow and steady walking up to the disc as usual. You can also almost see her preparing the next throw in her head as she does that. Tries to find the
And a
upline,
wayward
but
throw. Yeah, it looked like it was going to that handler who was cutting down, but just right through, sort of threaded the needle between both cutters.
that was
Valkyrie saved that disc, but
Glitchers.
throw it away. Tempest now, moving it back into the center, resetting with a handler, looking for that cut in the end zone. Big intercept. That's Lucas really putting her body on the line for her team. Just putting everything out there, stopping it.
I think
And it
there will
looks
be
like
a
there's
bit of a discussion. Yeah. Lucas was there, from my perspective, from what I saw in the video, which is basically the same thing everyone at home and all the fans can see. I think Lucas had her hand on it at first, but at the same time, there was a little bit of contact after that, and I cannot assess the intensity of it. But of course, no play on the disc justifies the contact even after the defense has been made. But it seems like there will be no call or calls retracted, and Valkyrie goes the other way.
Big fakes, looking to try and clear out that space from the defenders. Valkyrie now realizing that they need to have more players closer to the disc when this zone comes into play from Tempest. Better movement there against that zone, but an unfortunate drop. And Tempest get the disc back again.
A good opportunity for Tempest to stay tight, even out the score. They're spreading quite far across the field, given the windy conditions, but it pays off regardless. Just a quick score in the open side, easy backhand throw, takes us to 6-all.
Tempest setting up in what looked like a horizontal. You can just see them, or a sort of diagonal stack. Just sort of create space, and they didn't need much, did they? They just found that tiny little pocket of that end zone. Budib had eyes on her cutter.
Definitely. We can see the Valkyrie defender kind of positioning herself in between the disc and her player, way in the open side, leaving quite a big of a buffer. But of course, the disadvantage of the buffer is that when the offensive player moves close to you slowly, and then picks up the speed as they reach you, they can easily kind of sneak around you, and that's exactly what happened in this situation.
Nearly 5 p.m. local time in Canberra. It's windy, we can see it, and the players are, they're looking a little chilly. The Valkyrie team were sort of trying to keep their hands warm. It must have been such a long day for them. 3 games in one day, and Valkyrie having to do back-to-back, so such an impressive feat. Big throw, looking long, but nobody was there to bring it down. Not close enough. In the usual Valkyrie fashion, they're just looking long.
We're 6-all. We have about 20 more minutes till the end of the regular playing time. Valkyrie with a very good start of this game. Huge block. I think that must have been Thompson for Tempest. Tempest working out their way back, bringing the score to 3-3, and since then we've been going tight up to the score we have right now. And Valkyrie with a very quick response after a turnover. Again, just one pass necessary for the score, and they're staying up 7-6 in this game. incredible effort out of the Valkyrie ladies, really playing a back to back game. But on the other hand, they know that this is the last game of the day. They know this is where the important stuff decides. So they might as well squeeze out all their energy and then enjoy the evening relaxing and refueling and stretching and maybe even some massages. So um, I always one thinks, oh, it's been this long, but also you can kind of see the end. It's only half an hour tops to work through, and a lot depends on it, of course.
Yep, exactly. There's there's a lot to commend about the Valkyrie team. You know, coming right off a really tough match against Underground to throw it back, get straight back into it, and put everything out there. As you say, Rachel, it's the last game of the day. Any ounce of energy that you've got, you just need to throw it out there on this. And they're playing so well considering the conditions and considering how fatigued they could be. For a Div 2 team, there are a lot of challenges, and also this year as well. This tournament is early in the season, but it's also teams haven't had many months to train because of the pandemic. There has been different restrictions, so great opportunities are happening, and it's really nice to see Valkyrie, right now as we speak, moving that disc really well, getting it out up against this zone, and a collision into the cup.
You're right, Hillary. I think most of these players have also said that they have done a lot of individual preparation in the meantime. I would really be hoping most of the European players are doing the same thing, because otherwise we have.
Defense, I believe, if they started with the on offense. But really incredible moment. We're going to take a quick break while the teams are also taking a quick break, and we'll join you for the second half shortly.
And welcome back to the second half of the women's pre-semis of the Div 2 Australian Ultimate Championship. We have Tempest taking on Valkyrie. Valkyrie having the upper hand in the second half, leading currently 8-6 in this windy last game of today. Valkyrie starting on offense in this point and moving very quickly towards the end zone, and they will get it in almost immediately. That's Jaeger, who ended the first half with a huge layout safe catch, and now she scores again for her team, like she has done already so many times in this game and the previous one, which was streamed as well, and you can check it out on YouTube from the recording. And wow, what a quick point, and what a way for Valkyrie to start off the second half. Incredible
Rachel,
stuff.
Valkyrie they're just really dominating this second half now, really coming out with full force. You know, using every little ounce of energy that they've got left. So exciting to see a team like this really pull together, using everyone on the field and just trying to like get that momentum, find those open gaps now.
Medi again being involved in the action of the last point. Lots of fans of hers. The YouTube chat. We've mentioned before that she has had her appendix taken out only 2 weeks ago, but is back on the field in full force, performing beautifully for her team and working steadily towards the victory here. We hear the siren sound.
Yeah, Rachel, sorry, I was just going to say we are hearing that, that 80-minute siren sound, but we did start this game 4 or 5 minutes later, so they'll probably add that time, I think, and then call it. Let's just see how the game goes. With Valkyrie up 3, I'm not sure what will happen, but I know Tempest will take every little minute that they can get. Valkyrie look long and they send it, but the receiver wasn't in the position, wasn't in that right movement to get that disc. So it's another turnover back to Tempest now, but they're stuck in that windy end zone, on the end zone line. They look for that undercut and that disc goes up high and floaty, but is rescued. Dished back to a handler, but intercepted by Valkyrie. They get that turnover. Immediately look down that sideline, but a really low disc. And this is a really great shot. Smith, number 69, I believe, with that beautiful haircut, Valkyrie logo, repping her team. Tempest now with the disc, trying to find those options. And it's a bit jammy up in this handler space with lots of people moving. Tempest's pace has actually slowed down quite a bit from the previous points, and you can see that, you know, there's only 1 or 2 options coming, whereas before there was multiple options down the line. They find that beautiful space and dish it back to a handler. They look long. Stall count is high. Any option will do, and so they choose to huck it deep into the end zone. 2 Tempest players there, but Valkyrie ding it away.
That's again the fans' favorite, Medi, with the defense, reading it very well. Both teams, I mean Tempest now sticking with person D. And a pick called. And we're entering the last minute of the regular playing time. After this point is over, we should be adding 1 to the higher score.
Valkyrie unable to get that shot out correctly and turfs it. So Tempest now have the disc halfway down the field. Great cut from the handler down the line. Looking for the options, they're not there. They throw a backhand over the top of defenders, only using that small channel on the field. And they find that free player in the end zone and convert.
Let's have a look at that again. Over the head of the defender. And a quick final whip into the end zone. So Tempest staying alive, but I think it will still be a game to 10 as the buzzer has gone before this point finished. So I think our fans are right when saying that the double upwind break is powerful. That's exactly what Valkyrie managed after the halftime, and that I think might end up being the turning point for this game. But you never know. Tempest still managed to score the last point, and now they will be going downwind.
We just see shots of Canberra Archery Club in the background. This is a huge field or sports centre for sports. We've got netball courts across the road. We've got hockey fields nearby, archery. They play football on these fields, rugby, and ultimate frisbee.
Budeep with the pull.
Valkyrie managing to get it away, looking for those short passes now to dish it back to the handlers. Tempest now choosing to go with match defense and a high stall count. That stress to get that disc away results in a turnover for Tempest. They'll reset with a vertical stack. And 3 handlers out with Budib walking slowly up to the disc, allowing her team to reset. Beautiful pass off to a free receiver and look into the end zone. That was a great
incredible
play.
stuff
Almost
from
like
Tempest. Budeep seemed like she had all that planned in her head. Look at that quick give and go. She went for the upline, and the receiver knew exactly what was going to happen. She goes up, and perfect timing. I think it was Kwang again. Not sure, couldn't see the number, but she has scored previously for Tempest, so I think she's quite experienced in getting her cuts right in the end zone. So exciting stuff. Tempest with a last chance and yet another game point on their hands. They will be going upwind this time, but looking at the trees in the background, it's not too bad, I suppose. And Tempest have previously scored in this direction. So I don't know. I wouldn't bet anything on the result of this game, really. Even though I'm sure that our fans seem to be more on the Valkyrie side.
Yeah, Rachel, if you think about what we saw at the very beginning of this second half, Valkyrie came out and scored, but Tempest have now gotten 2 in a row, and they're looking like they're closing that gap. So it's really anyone's game right now. Valkyrie do have that upper hand, but it could be, with a strong defensive approach, Tempest could really turn the tables in their favor.
Excellent roller pull out of Tempest. What a put, what a put. A deep shot from Valkyrie goes up straight after the pickup. They try to aim for Jaeger. And probably a good call getting the disc a bit further away, forcing Tempest to cross the whole field if they want to earn this necessary break. And that's what happens. A turnover occurs straight away on the first pass. Lucas picks up for Valkyrie. She's gonna try to go deep with her shot, but Tempest strongly in the way. Budi picks up for Tempest. Finds an open receiver. Number 40 now on the sideline. Goes back to the middle. Tempest now working quickly. Lots of traffic around the disc. Budin gets it. Oh, and a slight overthrow. Just out of reach of Amy Lee, who will set up the mark. Oh, and an overthrow on Valkyrie's side as well. Tempest looking for the reset. Finally find a breakthrough. Get the disc all the way across. I believe this is now Thompson, Tempest captain with the disc. And yet another unprecise pass, maybe affected by a foul call. On the catch, though, it seems.
Looked like a fairly clean slap of the disc rather than a contact on the player. But hey, that's just my opinion from this angle. So Valkyrie
6.
back with the disc. That'll be Lucas picking it up. Slapped away by Tempest. Number 9, if I can see it correctly.
Lee with the defense, yes. Number 9.
Rachel, I'm loving hearing the sidelines, their reactions. It's very fun.
Lucas having a laugh herself. I guess the fans were asking for some more actions. That's right. With the pink hair of Emily in the background, some fans of hers in the stream chat as well. Oh, and another disc floating over the head of the intended receiver by Tempest. Emily now with the disc, but that one gets away too. Sorry, I think it was Emma, not Emily. My bad.
Big disc into the middle of nowhere. It looks like nobody moved, so perhaps there was a call.
Well, I would definitely love to see Tempest score here, just so that we have the excitement at the end of the game of a universe point. I think.
Yeah, give it to us, Tempest. We want that. The fans, the viewers at home, we want the thrill of that game.
So backdoor Gallo, making sure that everyone is on the same page with what's happening on the field as she picks up the disc. Lots of sideline talk now from everyone. Lots of support. People are really trying to squeeze out every last bit out of the players on the field. Lucas picks up again. Valkyrie now not really having a proper formation downfield as the
No,
players
and
are
Lucas
just
she's ignoring her free player just here on the right side of our screen. She's always got eyes deep, and I think that's good in some situations, but right now, when you want to hold possession and keep possession of the disc, she really needs to take the options that she's got to try and move that disc along.
Rod in the chat box says, "No, we want Valkyrie to just score now." Obviously, that would be the preferred choice for the Valkyrie fans. But Tempest now with the disc in their possession.
Oh, great dive to get that disc. This is looking good. And it is. Tempest level.
Here it is, the situation that most of the not so biased fans have been waiting for. Finally, a tight game on the stream. It's going to be a great universe point between Valkyrie and Tempest. I think a well-deserved even game. And both teams have shown and proven throughout the match that they have the skills to be the winner of this game. So I think it's only fair that it comes down to this last point. The teams will now pick the best of the best of their rosters, get them ready on the line, and as the sun sets down over the fields, this final battle will be played out on the stream and on your screens.
Yeah, this is quite the formidable moment for both teams. Really big opportunity for teams to put out their strongest line, the most aggressive players on the field, the hardest fighting ones are the ones you want to put out there, the ones who will put their body on the line, throw everything at it. And I'm sure they're all up for it. It's also quite a high stress moment. You know, you've really got to have a good mental grip on the game, be able to just own it when you've got the disc, not to feel too pressured to get it away, to pass it off, to just take the time. Remember that you've got 10 seconds and you don't need to throw it really quickly, although that can be really good. These moments are what really make teams, and it really shows how they can pull together as a team and how they play, how they can use their players and use the different skill sets that they've got. And it's also a really tough time for coaches as well. I think we can see from both Tempest and Valkyrie, they've got coaches on the sideline that are there giving them tips and talking through the strategies. Rachel, you've probably been in situations like this before. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I am very much known for the universe points. The first time 3SB qualified in the women's division for the European Club Series finals, I think in that tournament we had 3 universe points and won all of them. Usually ended up scoring with a hammer. So we will see. That's my prediction. We have another one in the YouTube chat. Jaeger layout score in universe. So if you want to have a bit of fun and share your expectations for this last point of the game, feel free to do so in the chat. These are the most fun situations, really. It can be emotionally so powerful for the team to kind of really focus on putting in all the energy and all the focus into this one moment, one point, and really work together so hard and just hope for the best. So we see some of the all-stars in this game, players who have been very useful for their teams. Obviously, Budeep with the pole, the steady main handler for Tempest. A wonderful put. Goes over the brick mark and is caught. I think that's the first caught pull in this game by Valkyrie. And Tempest starts off with a break. Oh, and a wobble by Budeep. Harley Smith proposing that Maddie Smith will do bookends, surely. He's got the disc right now. Valkyrie going the other way. A bit of traffic around the disc, but they managed to clear it out, and Maddie has it again. A bit too many people, quite a few people in the open side. But a huge hug goes up, but this will go out of reach of the intended receiver. Number 28, Sarah Davis with that courageous throw. So a third turnover in this universe point.
It's a tough look at the moment when you're down in that end zone and you see a player who has space, but to put that disc up, you really have to get the right angle, and it was a really tricky angle to pull it down. So Valkyrie really need to clamp down on their defense right now and force Tempest to make a mistake to stay in this area.
So we can see Valkyrie sticking with person D.
Yeah, and they're out. Tempest are out on a horizontal. High stall count. This is looking good for Valkyrie. Can Tempest find an opportunity to release? They do manage to get it away just in time.
Incredible calm from Budeep.
Budeep putting her body on the line, but can't rescue it.
Wow, Jaeger just
right on the
end zone line. And this is it, ladies and gentlemen. That's number 28, Sarah Davis with the score, Jaeger with the assist. And that's kind of been the story of this game. Valkyrie moving very quickly. Once their one deep throw works out, they managed to get it to the end zone eventually. They made no mistake, kept moving quickly, kept using their energy. And Tempest, besides heroic efforts trying to save some catches, we will see the layout here, I think. This was just a slight overthrow, and I think the disc got out of Dean's hands just due to the collision with the ground, and she did a great job. But look at that. Maddie grabbing the disc. One more break side throw. Great one-hand grab by Jaeger. And the score by Davis. Valkyrie eventually winning on Universe against Tempest, and they will advance to the women's semis tomorrow on Sunday. Thank you everyone for tuning in the chat, watching this exciting stream, witnessing some excellent Div 2 Women's Ultimate. My name was Rachel Deshurova, and I was joined by Hillary. Thanks, Hillary, for being here. And please, everyone, stay tuned and get back for some more action tomorrow.